was this group of young men in New York City back in the middle of the 20th century. They were staunch outsiders. They're these punkish autodidacts who didn't have jobs. They were hustlers who didn't know where they were going to sleep that night.
Okay, gentlemen.
But you could find them later in Paris or London or Bosnia, Egypt or Germany or Greece in pursuit of mastering this thing that they believed in more than anything, a thing that no one takes seriously.
Yeah, the world's greatest table tennis player, that at 250 gets you on the subway, you know, like it only means something to him, which is so much more beautiful. The success is pure, if that makes sense. It's a very, you know, the dream is a pure dream.
I play real table tennis!
I wanted to time travel back to the middle of the 20th century and zoom in on Marty Mauser, a nobody on the periphery of being somebody. I wanted to feel his dream. I wanted to feel his feverish desire to transcend and be the ultimate, supreme version of himself and prove to the world and really prove to himself that his purpose is a worthy one. I wanted to feel his highs and feel his lows and see what happens when you have this character who has these dreams and he's
Very, very stubbornly driven by it.
I don't think I see this as a classic emotional arc. You know, one of the first conversations I had with Josh Safdie and Ronnie Bronstein, co-writer, was sort of in terms of act structure, the way a classic movie's Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And, you know, they said, forget about all that.
When the writing process begins, Ronnie and I divide and conquer with research. Reading books and reporting back to one another, it's an incredible luxury to have that with a partnership. This is the 5th film that Ronnie and I have written together, well, that's been produced at least. With this one, we entered a new phase, an evolved phase, where the writing transcended typing. We understand these characters, each on a very, very personal level. We can relate to each and every single one of them. Ronnie's tough, and he operates more on a skepticism of my appetite for transcendence.
Marty is one of one. On one level, it's about the human being's ambition to be something greater than they are, and how we, as a planet, kind of entered this new phase of admiration of American individualism. After the war, the American dream became a kind of an international sensation.
America's involvement in World War II, at least the victory, was a massive neon sign on the highway of humanity. It became the greatest advertisement for the American way and the American dream. And Marty represents that. In a way, he represents it without any nationalism. And Timmy plays that with such a vulnerability that he's able to show the limits of it somehow.
I think you can look at that on a micro level, that Marty is America. And Marty represents the kind of cockiness, the ambition, the confidence that America has.
Marty is an ambitious young man who wants to be recognized as the greatest table tennis player in the world. He might be the greatest table tennis player in the world, but also a petty criminal on the Lower East Side of Manhattan.
When I met Timmy, I saw something inside of him. I saw a very almost nerdish quality. He's a very sincere, direct. When you're talking to him, you're the only person who exists. And I think that very much is in the Marty character. My wife bought me a book which kind of inspired the whole story. I immediately said to him, I'm writing a character for you, and I'm writing it bespoke to who I think you are that I don't think anyone has seen yet.
Josh's strategy is more to pre-plan the ingredients to chaos when you find yourself one of those ingredients, but honored to be so.
Kay, and like other characters in the film, are very much inspired by this infectious dreaming quality of Marty.
That's how one does manifest something, by being absolutely, abjectly, recklessly sure that you're gonna get what you want.
He's the one who, through his kind of naivete and his starry eyes, inspires her to go back to the stage. I think Marty shows that to Kay, and he's like, listen, don't forget about the dream.
Every role I've been fortunate to do, I do a big deep dive. I had 4 months to prepare playing Marty Mauser, but the table tennis training has been nonstop since the pandemic. In my apartment in New York, I had a table tennis, table set up that Josh came over and actually turned his knee playing on my, he actually sprained his knee.
Okay, go.
Usually a movie of this size is pre-planned to a T. With Josh, these films are really off the cuff.
You and I
I both know a huge draw will be to Endo and the Japanese. So, like you said, I'm a stick of dynamite over there.
In the mid-century, table tennis was populated by astrophysicists, criminals, mensa geniuses, biologists, people who ended up going to the moon. It was a really eclectic group of people. When you meet someone who's very good at table tennis, it's almost like meeting someone who's great at chess, except different, because chess is the least respected. Anyone who uses the name ping pong, you know they don't respect it. It's not a basement sport. It has dignity. And one of the top-ranked British players that we have came for a camera test that we were doing, and he saw the period table, and he saw the period paddles. And he says, wow, it's dignifying the sport. And I said, what do you mean by that? He goes, it's saying it has a history. And no one thinks that table tennis has a history.
You look at this being a period piece simply by way of the size of the budget, simply by way of the cast he's gotten together. Gwyneth Paltrow and Tyler, the Creator, Kevin O'Leary, Abel Ferrara. This is a big cinematic swing.
This role's very different for him from what I observe. I think it takes a lot of imagination and concentration.
I don't know what the rules are of acting. I don't give a shit about them. I want to live the moment, and I do with him.
I was in the middle of shooting camera tests, and I had Gwyneth on the stage, and so I said, bring Timmy here. And I just said to Timmy, circle her, understand Gwyneth Paltrow, the movie star. You're this young actor, and here she is, this big star. Just circle her. And you could really feel he was nervous. And I didn't say anything to her, and then she got what was going on, and she started circling him, and you know, what was written as something simple in the script became quite moving.
We definitely have a lot of love scenes, which is hilarious. All of my friends and their daughters seem to be very excited about this. And I think she's very savvy. She knows that it's a bit transactional. I think she sees not only her son in his physicality, but a little bit of her own hustle in him.
When Ronnie and I wrote this character, she was the first person I thought of. In fact, this is the only person I could imagine saying the lines that we wrote, is this woman who's been in hiding, but the stardom is there.
She's an artist who's kind of clipped her own wings for a long time. Kay left a public life to retreat into herself. So there's some parallels there.
This is the project that lured her out of retirement. This isn't someone who is starving for work.
I bet you can't name one film I've done.
What makes you say that?
Because I stopped acting before you were born.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It was a great honor to know that she was willing to put her acting boots back on to come tango with Josh and myself.
I love working with a director that has a very sure hand. And it was clear that he did and, you know, would know exactly what he wants.
I met Gwyneth a couple of years ago. She was a guest shark. She's a great entrepreneur, and we got to work together. Great actresses or great actors don't have to speak to act, and she's one of those. She walks in a room, it's electric. I've seen it happen.
I thought, well, who could play her husband? I need a brash businessman who represents early corporate colonialism in America.
We needed someone who could communicate asshole in one frame, in a picture, in a thought almost. I interviewed real politicians, motivational speakers. Then I thought about famous businessmen who are known for being famous, the ones who used to be on TV as speaking points, guys with big personalities. I thought about Shark Tank. The second I mentioned Shark Tank to Ronnie, he said, Mr. Wonderful, that's the one.
I said Mr. O'Leary the first time.
Mr. Rockwell.
They said, we're looking for that real asshole, and you're it. Grab the paddle and bring it back here. They said, we've been watching you for over a decade on Shark Tank, and there's something about what you do that we think is Milton Rockwell. So we don't want you to change it all. I read the script and said, if I were a billionaire in 1952, I wouldn't say this, I'd say this. And they listened, and we recrafted some of these emotions and these words. Josh is one of the best filmmakers because he works outside of the box in thinking about taking someone like me, who's not an actor. I've never taken any acting lessons. I probably never will. But he said, look, just be yourself. In a way, I'm really spoiled. This is my first scripted role ever. I'll never get it this good again. That's the problem.
I first met Josh in 2017.
in New York. I met him and his brother, and I think at some point I told him, like, hey, whatever you want me in, like, I'll do it. And then last year, he's like, yo, I want you in this thing. I'm gonna send you the script. I'm like, I'm not reading no fucking script. I trust your taste. I don't need shit.
Tyler and Timmy have a funny relationship in real life, so I wanted Tyler, the creator, to play Wally and just kind of bring his wild firecracker quality self to it, because he's somebody in the movie who's the Wally character is just on the same plane as Marty. The Rachel character is such an important part. She's the heart of the film. She's kind of intertwined with Marty.
Everything in my life's falling apart, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Do you need any help? I could help you.
No, it's all right.
Can I do
It's all right. No. Are you hungry?
Rachel is the biggest believer in him, and she's so inspired by a life of non-monotony. She loves the idea that you can live life entirely in the moment, and Marty represents that. So when we were looking for the part, we looked at every one.
Is there a lot of money?
There's a lot of money.
You can go now.
I know. You did amazing.
You can go on your trip.
Amazing. You did so good. You did such a good job.
I love you.
Odessa Zion.
She immediately brought a certain sort of spunk to it.
Marty, get in the car!
I like to say the movie has a Jewish Bonnie and Clyde, so it's Bonnie and Clydinsky.
When it came time to casting the mom,
Hey.
I think all moms are looked at in a nostalgic way, no matter what. It's kind of baked into our POV of them, no matter what's going on. They were the beginning.
Well, you don't seem happy to see me.
Yeah, you don't seem happy to see me.
So now are you going to be staying here?
I wanted someone who could evoke that nostalgia, but in a warm, very, very New York, very, very Jewish way. And there was only one woman who came to mind, and that was Fran Drescher, who I've been wanting to work with since I saw The Nanny.
It's from an original Egyptian pyramid. We built that.
Okay.
I needed to assemble the greatest team because I wanted to not only recreate American 52, I wanted to go back in time and make it feel present. And that was a huge, huge undertaking because I have a lot of pet peeves with period. I don't like when glass doesn't look real. I don't like when garbage doesn't look real.
Jack Fisk is a mythical figure in film. We all know the name, and he's worked with some of the greatest filmmakers of all time. And you hear them talk about him in a way that's beyond quote-unquote production designer. What's special about Jack you can't quite put into words. In sports, they use this term, invisible stats. It's, you know, the hustle plays, it's diving for the ball, there's inspiring your teammates, there are reasons why you want someone on your team.
We're shooting a period film, and most period films are shot very classically, but this is shot almost in a more contemporary way.
When I work with Terry Malick, he's shooting with 8mm lenses, and Josh is shooting with 250mm lenses. Darius, the cinematographer, just does so much beautiful work that I've admired for years. He walks into a set and he just starts feeling it, and then for him, lighting it is monumental.
There are a few romantics I've come to know in life whose entire day can shift seeing a unique face lurking in the shadow of a building in the late afternoon on 53rd Street. That's just who Darius is. With Uncut Gems, we strive for a certain crassness, a brash beauty. It drove him crazy, kind of. But I told him for this one that I wanted to revisit that spirit, but as if we were discovering it in 1952.
I love Darius. We talk through even swatches and colors from the very beginning before I even make stuff, and to see kind of how he wants to shoot it. Well, and he has opinions, like, for example, the night, Central Park, and kind of the colors and picking out this right suit and the dress color, things like that.
Miyako's taste for clothing, her taste for something that's lived in, pulls things out of artifice. Miyako, she loves crate digging and going to thrift stores and costume halls, and she'll pull thousands of things and not use one of them. She's pulling them to understand them and lets these actors try on a million things, but just to let them feel what this clothing felt like. She and I often talk about, could you be this person for Halloween? What makes an iconic look?
My casting director, Jen Vendetti,
spent over a decade combing the streets and subcultures of New York. Jen has developed an incredible database with all the people who we had not cast over the years, with distinct faces that reek of history. We spoke about how the face alone tells you that we're in the 40s or the 50s. There's no one else on planet Earth who is pained more than Jen when she sees an anachronistic face.
One of the things I wanted to do very early on is with this anachronistic quality of using 80s music in this 1952 film. And I wanted the score to sit somewhere in the middle of that. Go and get mid-century, post-war real musicians and fuse them with synthesizers. There's a timelessness that comes in the anachronism, an exuberance to the time period. Really, the idea came to me accidentally. I was watching period table tennis while doing research, trying to see what this looked like. And I was listening to Security by Peter Gabriel, and something about the anachronism just worked. It just fit. It was ineffable.
One of the things that Josh and I wholeheartedly agree on is like the inappropriateness of contrasting elements and how fun it is to be inappropriate with those contrasts. So absolutely no rules about what music is appropriate. You start asking yourself, well, what is it about those pieces of music? So to us, it doesn't matter if a piece of music is from the 18th century or the 1980s. There's something spiritually happening there that's linked to the moment, and that's why it's there.
I do think he's bending it, and it don't have to stay in the late 40s or 50s. It's also like just a soundscape. It might be a better soundscape for an emotion and get pulled from a song from the 80s than the 40s for that specific scene.
It's not your baby.
Man, it ain't no rules to this shit. That's why I fuck with him, because he not precious with it.
Our hunch is that inappropriate things, if they're kind of soulfully calibrated the right way, are the best things. It wakes you up, it surprises you. Josh, he's got an incredible sense of rhythm, allowing the rhythm of the world to actually be what it is and capturing that and framing that so well, including letting dialogue be free form and true to life.
I'm okay. Everyone just go back to bed.
Let's do this quickly because it's
Let's
a quick
do this
thing.
quickly,
All right.
and then let's get
Timmy,
move
it's
on.
just you spraying them with real water,
Yeah.
and then you're coming and spraying you guys. So we have the scuba gear on.
Yes.
Fall to the ground, Isaac!
What drew me to this project was working with Josh Safdie. When you look at Uncut Gems, you look at Good Time, this is the premier filmmaker, there's no exaggeration. Josh is the kind of director whose door I've been knocking on for 6 to 7 years, like I said, because he's the guy. This is the Scorsese of our times. These opportunities to work on a piece of cinema and a piece of filmmaking are rare now. Not a lot of these get made.
I love all of these things that Josh does to encourage real behavior and real moments.
Maybe great directors have the ability to pull out these pieces of you don't even know you have.
I go to sleep at 9 p.m., bro. This motherfucker Josh Safdie has us out here at fucking 6 a.m. talking about, all right, y'all, see y'all tomorrow. Bitch, it is tomorrow already. All his lead characters are fucking idiots, like actual dumbasses. They just keep getting themselves into more shit, and I hate that, but at the same time, I couldn't look away.
To have a dream is incredibly lonely. Dreams are there to inspire, they're for the believers. They exist outside of time. There's an urgency to a dream, like we might wake up at any moment. And there is beauty here that Marty does wake up. One dream ends and another begins.
Say hi to Daddy.
Dreams are like heists on fate. We conspire with them in an effort to dictate our fate, to tell it it's wrong. There's a quote that John Lennon popularized. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. I think it could be amended to life is what happens when you're dreaming.